Welcome to the Dom Harvey podcast, sponsored by Generate. Great conversations with fascinating people. On this episode, Kiwi ski legend Alice Robinson. She skis downhill at 140 kilometres an hour.
Like in the off-season, I've been having to think about skiing a lot more than I usually do because normally I can come back to New Zealand and just check out. And this year I've found a lot more interest just because of the Olympics coming up.
Is it something you think about every day when you're training? Or do you have any like post-it notes on the bathroom mirror? Or,
Just have like my screensaver is just a picture of Cortina.
We talk about fear, we talk about pressure, and why her mindset heading into the 2026 Winter Olympics is very different to anything that's come before.
Oh, good, you're here. Come on. This is the centre of performance. Whenever there's a top performance in New Zealand, it all comes from here. That's Lisa Carrington. She's been doing that for days. That's the boy who got the hole-in-one in Tokyo. Oh, he did it again. Hey, Finn, how's the performance going?
Top tier.
Nice. This is our Generate room. In here, you'll find our top performers helping Kiwis maximise their KiwiSaver investments. Get in here, Finn. Maximise.
Right,
Generate. Putting performance first.
Alice Robinson, welcome to my podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
We literally just met like 2 minutes ago in the car park.
We did. That was a quick meeting and now we're into it.
Now we're into it, and this is going to be good. Now, your specialty is, what's it called, DS?
GS.
GS. What's
Yes.
that?
So it's giant slalom.
Giant
so
slalom.
it's like the technical, like on the technical side of like ski racing events. It's called, like if you think of a basic turn, if you imagine skiing, that's kind of what giant slalom is. Yeah.
That's a terrible start by me. You're getting that mix. I've watched so much of you in the past week as well.
Yeah.
So your event's like 2 minutes. 2 minutes of
Yes.
chaos.
So it's like, so giant slalom's 2 runs and then it's your combined time. So it's like a minute a run basically. And then when I do Super G and downhill, then it gets it's 1 run and it's more like between a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Yeah.
And you're going at just a terrifying pace, like 100 k's an hour on the snow.
Yeah, so GS is a little bit slower because the turns are a bit closer together, but Super G and downhill you can get up to, I think the fastest I've gone is like 140, 138, which is pretty quick, yeah.
Oh my God. Well, since you like doing everything at pace, which is actually the opposite of what this podcast is,
Yeah.
it's a long form
Yeah,
conversation.
make sure I'm not talking too fast.
I thought we could start with like a quick fire section, so we'll
Okay.
just
Yeah.
go through these really quickly.
Sounds good.
Okay, favourite chairlift snack? Washed down with a Red Bull, of course.
Gummy bears.
Who texts you first after a big race?
Probably mum. Mum and dad, yeah.
Do they travel with you much?
They normally come for about like a month in the middle of the season, but they're not around all the time, but they love it, yeah, when they can.
They couldn't be with you full time, because
No.
you're out of the country like half the year.
Yeah, at least half the year, maybe a little bit more.
Most underrated part of being a pro skier?
Underrated.
Free stuff? What do you get?
Yeah, I think probably, the free stuff. I mean, getting to go to so many cool, amazing ski resorts, traveling. Yeah, I mean, I love most of it, to be fair.
First thing you do when you get home to Queenstown?
Hang out with my dogs. Honestly, just like go and stand outside and be in the scenery because it's so beautiful. It's like you don't appreciate it when you're there for too long and then you come back and you're like, yeah, this is pretty nice.
Hidden talent off the slopes?
Ooh.
I saw a video on your Instagram. It looks like you're like twerking on a kitchen top and then jumping down.
I was quite a good horse rider, so I'm going to go with that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw another video. It looks like you're on a beach or in the desert in Morocco or something, riding a horse, going really fast as well.
Yeah, no, I love that, yeah.
Favourite ski resort outside of New Zealand?
Cortina in Italy, in the Dolomites. Yeah, it's amazing.
We're going to get into Cortina. That's
Yeah.
That's where you're off to soon in Italy.
Yeah, it is, yes.
For the Winter Olympics next
Yeah.
February. Who's harder to beat, Michaela Schifrin or your own self-doubt?
Ooh. Probably Michaela Schifrin, to be fair.
What's your pre-race pump-up song?
I do. I love like Thunderstruck, AC/DC. That's a good one. Or Sirius by Alan Parsons Project. Yeah.
I don't know that one.
You do.
I know Alan Parsons Project. That's
Yeah,
not.
it's like the Chicago Bulls like intro song when they're at their prime. It's a good
Who got you into that? That's an old song, right?
Yeah. Probably, parents, I think.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Best and worst things about living out of a suitcase?
Oh, worst is for sure like finding laundry machines. It's a bit of a nightmare, like trying to run into random foreign-speaking hotels asking them to do some laundry for you. The best is probably you have to be like, you can't hoard stuff. You have to be like very cutthroat with what you're carrying around. So it's kind of easy to have everything you need with you. Yeah.
You must be a pro packer by now. You must be so good at it.
Yeah, you'd think so. I'm still like,
Still
I'm still struggling a little bit. I'm like, I really should be better at this.
Yeah, to put this in perspective, we're recording this at my PodLab studio, and in about 4 days from now, you're flying out of the country, and you're not going to be home for like another 9 months.
Yeah. So it's going to be quite a serious packing operation on Sunday. Yeah.
And last one in our quick fire, what's heavier, the skis or the pressure?
Oh, God. The skis. Yeah.
Nah. No.
This was me trying to trick myself. So
Really?
The pressure's not that big. But
Yeah, because I want to talk about that. Let's get straight into it. So, the 2026 Olympics, they start on Waitangi Day, the 6th of February in Cortina, Italy next year. Just to set the scene about how much pressure you're under, I put into ChatGPT how you were going to go at the Winter Olympics next year, and this is what AI said.
Oh, God. Here we go.
I lean towards Alice Robinson being a serious contender for a medal in GS at the 2026 Winter Olympics, likely in the top 5, with a good shot at the podium if everything aligns.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a lot of pressure.
ChatGPT is really putting on the pressure these days. No, it is a lot. Yeah, no, I think for sure it's always something special when it comes to the Olympics, especially being from New Zealand, because in our sport, that's kind of the time that everyone starts paying attention, even though we're like competing with the same competitors on the same format pretty much every year, every weekend. There's still for sure, being the Olympics is a special event, of course.
A pinnacle event.
Yeah, it's a pinnacle event, and it's the same race or same competition and same format that we do all the time, but just having that title on it, it makes it, it raises the stakes, which is exciting. I'm really trying hard this year not to put too much pressure on myself, because I feel like I've done that in the past and it hasn't really benefited me that much. And I think I had a really good relaxed mentality like going into something like the World Championships last year that did me really well. So I'm trying not to, I guess, over magnetize the size of the event. I just want to treat it like another race, because it's kind of what we do every week. So I'm trying to kind of do the same processes that I do, and then hopefully the results will just take care of themselves.
Do you ever lose sleep over the Olympics or thinking about it?
No, I don't. I haven't. No, honestly, I think for sure this year, like in the off season, I've been having to think about skiing a lot more than I usually do, because normally I can come back to New Zealand and just check out completely of the sport, because it's not, a big sport here that was getting talked about all the time. And this year I've found a lot more interest just because of the Olympics coming up. So for sure it's been, in the back of my mind a lot more this year than, another year thinking about other events. But I wouldn't say I'm losing sleep over it. I mean, it's exciting. I see it as an opportunity and not as like a threat. I'm trying to kind of put it in that perspective.
Yeah, how often do you think about it? Is it something you think about every day when you're training, or do you have any like post-it notes on the bathroom mirror, or
just have like my screensaver is just a picture of Cortina?
Well, some high performing athletes that I've had on the podcast do. Everyone's got like a different sort of thing.
Now that you say like you're thinking about it every day, I feel like when I'm training, it would be hard for, I guess, especially in New Zealand, I feel like every day someone will come up to me at training and bring up something to do with the Olympics, or if it's people being like, oh, I'd like to come watch, or like, I'm going to be, Cortina's coming up. So I feel like it has had a lot of airtime. And I guess when I'm training every day, obviously I'm thinking about skiing and not just about Cortina, but, I've got my first World Cup event in like 3 weeks. So that's kind of more I'm trying to look at like the more short term, but of course, being the Olympics and logistics and things like that, it's getting, a lot more thought than any other race gets throughout the year.
Because what you do requires, I'm imagining here, I've got no actual idea. Yeah. I've never been off the beginner's slope myself. Actually, no, that's a lie. I last went skiing.
I'll take you next time.
Absolutely not. I'm not going anywhere near the snow with you. My ex-girlfriend took me to the snow a bunch of years ago, and she was like, do you ski? And I'm like, yeah, I used to ski. I used to be a real gun. I used to ski all the time. We went to the top of the chairlift, got off, and then we're at the top of this the top of this decline, and I dropped my nuts. So I ended up taking my skis off, sliding down a little bit on my bum.
Yeah.
And then it was
it's
just
like the classic safety move, like feet first. Yeah.
Like, it was terrible, and I just had no shame about it. I'm just aware of my limitations.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fine.
So where I was going with this is like for that minute or 2 minutes when you're doing it, whether it's in training or an event, I'm guessing you're not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
But it's every other little moment on the mountain when someone comes up to you and says, "Good luck, we're rooting for you, all the best." Like it must just compound to that pressure.
Yeah, I think for sure. Absolutely. I think especially for me, I've been doing this for even though I'm still 23, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been racing on the World Cup since I was 16. So I think personally I've kind of gone through, and also having success really young, like 17, that definitely affected me a lot, having a lot of the pressure, and it affected me for quite a few years, feeling like that pressure, external pressure really affected me a lot. And I think that's something in the last couple of years I've really tried to work on and grow. So now when people make comments or say they're watching or anything, I don't really think about it that much. I try not to feel extra people's external pressures onto myself. I think for me, I put the most pressure on myself.
Of
so
course.
for other people saying they're rooting for me, I just kind of see it as I'm just kind of a side story of what they're thinking. So I know I'm the one who's fully invested in this, so I'm the one who cares the most. And I try just to focus on myself and not think about the extra pressure. But for sure, something about the Olympics, and especially for being from New Zealand, this is the event that everyone pays attention to. So it's definitely a little bit more angsty than, compared to the regular World Cup weekend. But for other athletes, from other countries, they feel this every weekend. And I guess it would be the same as, a mainstream sport in New Zealand. So I feel like I get let off the hook a little bit there. So I'm gonna try and not let the Olympics add any extra pressure than I would feel every week, because at the end of the day, it's the same event, but just a different title to it.
It's a good space to be playing in. Have you got a sports psych?
Yes, yeah. I started working with a sports psych about 2 years ago, and I think that's helped me a lot. I mean, I'm not the athlete that needs to talk to a sports psych every week or every day. I kind of just have monthly check-ins or something like that, just to go over a few things. And as long as everything's going smoothly, then I don't feel the need to do it too much. But I think more so my sports psych communicates with my coaches, who then kind of communicate with me. So they kind of are secretly doing the work that maybe I'm not as aware that I'm using a psychologist as maybe I am. So
they're tricking you.
Yeah, they're tricking me.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because even though you mentioned before you're 23, you turned 24 in December. So I'm not sure when this podcast is going to come out, but you'll be still 23 or 24.
Yeah.
But even though you're still very young, you've been through, you've experienced wild success, but also wild failure already. So I suppose you've been through the full cycle of what it is to be a high performing athlete.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, I feel I'm 23, but I feel I've been through a lot of different phases of an athlete's life. I guess some athletes, they don't reach, they reach their peak a bit later, but then they just stay there. Or some, I guess I was a bit of a prodigy, especially in ski racing, doing well at 17 or winning a World Cup. It's very rare, just because it's a sport it's a traditional sport. It's not a sport young people usually excel at. The top skier last year was top 3 girls last year were all over 30. So it's not a traditionally dominated by young people. So doing well young is quite rare. So I kind of went through that, and also being from New Zealand and then having this really early success, and I was almost oh my God, this is so easy. I'm just a kid, school kid from New Zealand, beating all these Europeans at their sport. What is this? I was kind of oh my God, here I am, sort of thing. And then that same time was around the COVID times when everything kind of shut down. And then I was kind of oh wait, I'm an 18-year-old on the other side of the world, trying to be the best in the world at something, and I've no idea what I'm doing kind of over here by myself, and struggled for quite a few years trying to figure out how I even was good in the first place, because I guess I just had natural ability, but I didn't have any maturity or consciousness of how I actually got to that point, or didn't have any structures in place that, routines that made me feel I knew what I was doing. So I definitely had some really low lows. Especially the last Olympics was really tough for me, being in China, and definitely went not the way that I wanted or expected. And there were definitely some factors in that played into that not going well, but it was a really tough learning curve. So kind of having that, really early success and people saying to me, and then you compare yourself to other people who've had that success, and people normally, like other people who've had success at 17 have gone on to be like the greatest in the sport ever. So people were kind of saying to me like, oh my God, you could be like, the next greatest GS skier of all time. Like no one else has done this at this age. And that was me kind of then putting that pressure on myself. Like, okay, at this age, I need to do this. At that age, I need to do that. I need to do that by that age. It's a lot of pressure. And then when it started not going that way, it kind of stressed me out more because I was like, okay, well now I need to play catch up because I'm not there now, but I need to be there like at this point. So that stressed me out comparing myself to others. And then I think over time I kind of started to realise that being from New Zealand especially, and like every athlete and person's lives and journeys are so different. So kind of accepting that and being like, okay, this is where I am, this is what I'm going through. My story is going to be different to their story. It doesn't make it like better or worse, but I think accepting that has helped me a lot and kind of coming back to now getting back to the top of the sport for sure. Yeah.
Thanks for that explanation. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, 'cause I'm just thinking like if it was me, like when things are going bad, that's probably when you just like overthink everything and you try extra hard and you want to overtrain or which is not great.
It's overthinking.
Okay. Thanks for all that mental stuff. That's really cool. Now some of the physical stuff. So when you're in the start gate at the top of a GS course, what's going through your mind?
That now I feel like I'm thinking more than I used to. Like, I mean, you've got to like memorize the course. So I'm doing like visualization and then kind of have a few technical focuses that I'm thinking about. And then there's also a part of you that's kind of like just trying to get fired up to go. Like when I was younger, for example, I didn't think about like anything. I just would try and get as fired up as possible. But now I think...
what, earplugs in, listening to Thunderstruck?
I mean, now I don't even listen to music really before my races because I try and be like happy enough in my own thoughts without needing music. But like when I was younger, I just listened to music and like not really think about anything and just try and like be like, I'm just going to send this so hard. I'm going to send it. And that's all I thought about and kind of laughed it off. Whereas now I feel like, okay, you don't need to ski at 120%. You need to ski your best and like execute what you like the technical goals or like the places on the course, because every course we ski is different, right? So we have one inspection and then you get to go, and there's parts of the course that are more difficult.
An inspection, is that like a practice run?
Yeah, so it's like you don't get to run the course, but you slide down and like check out the course. So you don't get any practice runs.
What do you mean slide down?
So so you go down at like snail speed. So like you stop, look at it, like slide back in, have a look. You can't ski it.
To be honest,
if you think about a beginner sliding down, it's kind of like
well, the slopes that you're going down, they're so steep. I don't know if I'd even be comfortable doing that.
Kind of
so intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, you're like with your coach looking at it, so it's kind of like the collaboration time. Like, okay, we're gonna.
What are you looking for exactly? Because I've watched so many of your races, and it's just like a downhill gates that you go around.
Yeah. So, for example, like every like course set's different. So obviously all the slopes are different. So like 1 week we'll be on a flat course, like in Austria, for example, and you're looking at the course setting and it has to be like within a certain meter regulation, but they might do like 2 big turns and then you go around like a blind roller. You're like, oh, okay, the gate's over there because you can't see it when you're skiing. So if you went and did it like straight away, you wouldn't know where to go because it could be like around a blind turn or that turn could swing a lot more or something like that, or just like tricky things. Like the course set can be like challenging or easy, so you just check it out, and then but you still don't know how fast you're going to be going or anything, but you just can't, that's why. So we call it inspection, so it's like checking out the course before you go, and then so you get one inspection and then there's one run, do the first run, second run inspection, second run. So in GS the inspection isn't important, but in a run in Super G, that's my second discipline, it's really important because you don't get any training runs and you're going like 130 kilometers per hour and you get one look at the course going really slow and you have to kind of guess how fast you're going to be going. So you could be looking at a jump going over, like you're going to fly 30 meters here, you're going to be going 130 and you've got to know where you have to land to be able to like make the next gate sort of thing without missing something. So it's not that easy in that sense. It's quite important, the inspection, but when you think about someone like a beginner sliding down, it's kind of at that speed.
That whole thing sounds, that's one thing I love about the podcast, by the way, like getting to learn.
I was saying, like, no one probly knows anything about ski racing, so it's kind of confusing. But
No, I think for anyone that doesn't know anything about skiing like me, it's it explains there's a lot more nuances to the sport than just going downhill really fucking fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many like variables in this sport, and courses are changing. Like, I guess it's one of the challenges of even though it's an individual sport and you're not like, you're not playing tennis where you're versing someone else, or playing like soccer or rugby where you're playing another team. You're by yourself, obviously, because it's just timed. But kind of the variable factor isn't the other team. It's like the slopes that you're on, or the conditions, or the course set. That's what's changing all the time. So, or the weather. So like one day could be sunny and you're on a flat slope. The next day could be a snow blizzard and you're on like a really steep glacier. So that's kind of where the variants play in. And that's kind of the part that you've got to adapt to like every week, is the different conditions, different terrain, things like that. Yeah.
How do you control the fear, or is there no fear?
See, when I was younger, I would say I was pretty fearless. I didn't think about, like, I've never been like scared of like hurting myself, for example, which some athletes are. Some athletes have like zero fear at all. Like, they're not scared of hurting themselves. I think for me...
Is that healthy?
Well, I think those athletes, they can be so fast, but they do end up hurting themselves quite a lot. And then, it's different. But then they're also very fearless and they're coming back from injury. They're not like, okay, I've hurt myself, I'm scared to hurt myself again. They just all go. And then there's some athletes who are very scared, and it's like to a detriment that like they don't push enough because they're scared. So I think for me, I'm trying to find a decent balance between not having fear, but also to the point that it's detrimental, but also you've got to be smart to have like longevity in the sport. That, if it's a downhill course and you're going 140 clicks, maybe, and you're going into like a straight section, maybe not like pinning that gate or taking, because you can take risks doing this. Like on one turn, some athletes might go really straight and cut a line to make up time, but then the risk of you crashing gets a lot higher. So I think it's about balancing the fear, but also the risk taking to the reward. And I think some people are kind of better than others, and some people maybe have no fear and they're so fast, but then they hurt themselves a lot. So it's a bit of a balancing act. And I think when I was younger, I was more on the I don't have any fear side. And I think now, especially in giant slalom, I didn't have fear of hurting myself. I had more fear of, crashing or not finishing the course and then just being a DNF rather than like hurting myself. But I think also getting a little bit older and seeing a lot of my like colleagues or peers in the sport have like serious injuries has made me not be scared of injury, but just kind of be a bit more aware of the risks. Mindful, of like, okay, if you're going full ballistic and you're not thinking, especially as I've moved more into the speed disciplines, which is Super G and downhill, you have to be aware of the risks, because normally like one person every weekend is blowing their knee or breaking their leg or something. So you don't want to be like unaware of what you're doing. You need to be mindful, I think, to have longevity in the sport, like I said.
Yeah, you've got to be smart about it.
Yeah.
Risk versus reward.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens when you fall over, when you crash at like 120, 130, 140 k's an hour?
Well,
does it hurt, or is the snow soft?
No, it's not. It's like ice, so it's like this. It's like, well, for me, touch wood, I haven't had any like big injuries, which is very, I guess, lucky for our sport at this stage. But I have had a couple crashes. So basically, if I crash in GS, like the chances of you hurting yourself might be like 5-10%. If you crash in downhill, the chances of you like seriously hurting yourself is like 50%, just because your skis are a lot longer, you're going a lot faster, and the forces are a lot higher. So I've had one big crash in downhill, and I remember I was terrified because I was in a training run, and I went into the nets on this like zigzag section. I was going probably like 120, and this was like a bad inspection, so I had no idea where I was going because it was in this forest. It was so dark, and it just was this hill that turned like 4 times, and I didn't remember where I was. I got lost like on the course, because in downhill, if you don't know where you're going, you're just screwed, because you're like skiing blind going 130 and you have no idea. I got lost where I was, so I went straight over this roller, completely misjudged where I was, went into the nets, and then I just looked down and I just saw like blood everywhere, and I was like, oh my God, and I felt my body, and I was just in shock. I was like, okay, like first thing you think about is like knees. Are knees okay? And I was like, okay, I think my legs are fine, but there's blood everywhere. And I was like, oh my God. And I could see it here. I was like, oh my God, I've cut my head open, like on my ski, because my goggles were cracked. So I was like, oh my God, I've like cut my face on my ski. There's bleeding everywhere. My nose was then started bleeding. I had no idea what was bleeding. So I just skied down I got up. Everyone was like, oh my God, there's blood dripping everywhere. And I was skiing down and I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Anyway, so I get to the bottom and then I look at myself and I've just completely grazed my lips, my nose, like everything was fine, but it was just like blood gushing, like swollen. And I was then started kind of crying and laughing because I was looking at myself at my phone and it was like, it looked like I'd had really bad lip filler. Like my lips had just blown up. I posted a photo of it on Instagram and then like 5 minutes later it was in the media everywhere, like, because I joked about having bad Botox. It was like, it was like, there's medias, it was like ski racer Robinson looks completely like transformed after quote unquote bad Botox, like on the run. And I was just looking, this photo was going like everywhere because I looked like it just looked ridiculous. So that was like my kind of one experience. And it was like, I still raced the next day. But it was, that was my one experience crashing in downhill. So it wasn't really that traumatic. It was just kind of entertaining. But I've had friends that, I've shattered their legs and been flown off in helicopters to intensive care. I've had, friends do their knees, like another ski racer, he like nearly chopped his leg off. So, I mean, that's a good story, but the risks are very high. If you crash, if you know someone hurt their head really badly and was in a coma for like a month. So the risks are very high, like in what we do. It's not like I might just, pull my leg muscle. It's like, no, this is like very serious stuff. So you definitely like need to be aware of what you're doing. And not be too loose.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I get the sense that you're kind of relieved. Most people be like, not the face, but you're like, not the body, not the body,
I'm like,
the face.
I'm like, this is fine. I'm like, just please, like, hips down, please no. I'm like, seriously.
Well, I can just picture you. You would look like one of the brides on Married at First Sight Australia or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I found a quote from you online. This is when you were 17 years old, so this is like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Talking about sacrifices. And it stuck out to me because I thought this is a lot for a 17-year-old when you should, I don't know, be in your last year of school. It's a lot of work to be competitive in alpine skiing. You've got to be overseas for 6 months a year. You've got to be up at 5 a.m. most mornings. You have to do it in all weather conditions. It's not just sunny days. You've got to go up when it's raining, when it's snowing, when it's windy, when it's freezing. What's kept you in the sport so long? Like, you're still quite young, but to be doing it for as long as what you have. I can understand why Nico Porteous retired at a young age when everyone else thought it was a bit unusual.
Yeah, I guess for me, I've loved the kind of grind. I've always loved that feeling of like getting up early and like having a job to do and doing it. And I think for sure, like there's sacrifices, and I still, when I was younger, I think it was more sacrifices when you're a kid because, you're missing out on your normal like school and uni and, going to school with your mates every day, like that kind of thing. I was actually really lucky that I was able to stay at high school, my like local high school, my whole way through till I finished. So I felt like I still had a nice kind of childhood high school experience without being completely isolated. Because I said that to my parents when I was starting, because a lot of ski racing children, they go to like ski academies in the US. If you're from like Australia or New Zealand, I know families that have fully lifted and shifted and moved their whole lives to the US for their kids to go to these ski academy schools. And I said to my parents, like, oh, I'm not doing that. Like, I want to stay in Queenstown and be at my local school. So I'm really glad that they supported me in doing that, and my local high school was really supportive. But I don't know, I think for me it's never felt like for sure it's a sacrifice, missing it. Haven't had like a Christmas or a summer at home for like 10 years. I've always been away. So in that sense, it's a sacrifice. But I mean, for me, like I love competing and I love skiing. And it's like, the biggest passion for me. It's something that I've always been drawn to since I was like 8 years old when I started. It's always been this huge pillar in my life. So for me, it doesn't feel like the sacrifice of what I'm doing just feels very minuscule to the joy that I get out of it. So I think that's why I still enjoy doing it. And I think that's why, and I think also when, things are going well and you feel like you're having fun with what you're doing, you've got a good crew around you, you're working hard, but you're seeing the results pay off for that hard work, then it feels like it's all worth it. I think the problems start to come up if you're kind of sacrificing everything, you're doing everything you can, but your miserable results are lacking, then it's like, what's the point in doing this? But I think for me, like, with the results that I've had the last couple of years and the sacrifices that I'm making, and also seeing how much work like my whole team is putting in, I don't know, it just makes, I love the feeling of, I feel like we're on a mission, you know, we're like a little Kiwi team that are on the other side of the world, like darting around Europe and North America, trying to come up, like compete against the rest of the world. I think we all kind of have the same philosophy in that we all really like the kind of hustle and the mission around it.
Who is on this team that you talk about? So, for example, Christmas this year, you're going to be out of the country again.
Yes.
Who will you spend Christmas Day with?
So I have like a pretty much full Kiwi team. So I have 2 coaches, Tim Cafe and Nils Koberger, who they came on with me again full time like 2 years ago. But they've both kind of been in the scene with me. Like, they're both Kiwis, so they've been around pretty much since I started ski racing. Tim was my coach when I was younger and then stopped when I was like 17 for a few years. And then I brought them back. And then my best friend, we used to ski race together, and we used to kind of, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have been as good in ski racing, because we used to push each other a lot. Like, we would train together, race together. And then she did her knee twice before she turned 18, her ACL. So she was like, okay, I'm going to stop ski racing and go to physio school. And I said, oh, it's fine, because we always wanted to race the World Cup together. I was like, oh, it's fine, you can be my physio. And then the last year, 2023, I said to her, like end of 2023, I said she'd already finished physio school and been working. And I said, oh, why don't you come with me for like 10 weeks and just come on the road? And she was like, okay. And then we started doing that. And then last year she came pretty much full-time, and this year she's coming full-time again. So it's pretty cool. I get to have my best friend as my physio on tour. So it's pretty fun.
Oh
so
my God, that throwaway line actually came true.
Yeah, throwaway line came true. We're like, okay, it's fine. Like, we were little 16-year-olds, like, oh, you go to physio school, I'll keep ski racing, then we'll be a team later on. And it actually came true, which is really cool. So yeah, my like childhood best friend's on my team as my physio. And then I also have a serviceman, which is like a technician. So they look after all my equipment, because that's like another part of skiing that maybe people don't know, but I travel with about 50 pairs of skis.
Do you spend so much time at the excess baggage counter?
No, well, this is a good thing. I don't have to deal with it.
Oh, the serviceman does that.
Yeah. So that's like another big part of the sport. So he's from Austria. He's hired by my ski company, Solomon, and his job is pretty much just tuning my skis every day and looking after the skis. And he goes back and forward from like the factory, like bringing in and out of skis, because they design special skis for us. Then we go out and test them. They go back for like more modifications, then come back out. So that's quite a big, equipment's a huge part. So
I think that's where the incident I was telling you about at Whakapapa, where I had to slide down.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. I just hired skis.
Yeah, exactly. That's your issue. Anything doesn't go well, you just got to blame the equipment.
Right. I needed a serviceman. Is that the whole team?
Yeah, so there's 5 of us.
Yeah.
But then we'll do Christmas Day. I have a race on the 27th of December, which is pretty brutal. So we're normally training on Christmas Day. But we have a friend who owns a hotel, and so us and the US team, we all go there together and have Christmas, which is quite fun because we're all training. So we have a bit of a crew. We call it like the orphans, like the North Americans and us, because we're all the ones that are on the road. So we like gang up for Christmas, which is quite nice. Yeah.
So even you explaining that team, like to me that feels like an added pressure. Like there's all these people that are putting their own lives and families on hold. So in order for them to achieve a goal, I suppose, but ultimately it's your goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know for sure. I think that's something I struggled with a lot in the past, is that feeling of so much pressure. You know, it's not like you're a team where everyone's, you know, the pressure's spread out. It's like all on you. But I guess for me, I've had these discussions with them, like they're all doing it because they want to do it. Yeah. They said that to me. They're like, we're not here for you. Like, we like doing this. I mean, they're here for me, obviously, and they love it. But they're like, this is what we want to do. This is like our dream of like, you know, being on the road and competing and doing this. Like, they've wanted to do it for so long. And that was a part of also when I changed my team a couple of years ago. I wanted people, like coaches around, who were like really appreciated that position of being with like a top athlete and being at the top, because I think a lot of coaches get recycled between athletes, and a lot of them are kind of been there for so long, they're not very appreciative of the position they're in. They're kind of like, I'm a top coach, like you're lucky to have me, sort of thing. And I kind of wanted more people who were like, this is amazing, like we're out here doing this. This is so cool. Not someone who's going to take it for granted and be like, you're lucky to have me as your coach, sort of thing. Because there's a lot of that in sports.
You
I
can't
feel
have
like
that. That's
no,
not
there's
good
a
for
lot
anyone.
of coaches that are like, oh, you're lucky to I'm here. You're lucky to have me. And I was like, no, I want people that are like, oh my god, I'm so lucky to be a part of this team. So we have a really good philosophy, and also it's probably good. No one is like, I mean, my two coaches, they're not married or they don't have kids, so they're more than happy to be on the road for 7 months and be chasing the winter around. So for them, it's kind of their dream life as well. Yeah.
And is there ever any managing like personalities or any personality clashes, like when you're in a tight knit? I suppose it's like a band traveling or something.
Yeah, I
you know,
mean,
with personality dynamics and things.
Yeah, I mean, there's never like any blow ups. For sure, everyone has their moments, but I think we kind of cover quite a few different personalities that no one's ever kind of competing or like, I don't know, like everyone kind of like everyone knows each other very well as well. That like, it's more of like a family vibe than like a team. That it's like if your, I don't know, brothers, siblings are annoying you or your uncle's annoying you, you just get over it because, you know, you have to. I think that's kind of the same vibe on our team is like if someone's, you kind of laugh it off, but it's never like a big issue. And if there was, I think we all know each other well enough and are comfortable enough that we can bring it up and it's not like no one takes anything personally if there's an issue. Like everyone's very open. So it's been going really well and hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Addressing issues immediately rather than letting them sort of fester.
Like open. I mean, and also we're all having dinner together every night. Like we're all staying, you know, because we're moving between like hotels all the time. So we have to kind of like, you know, we have to have a dinner topic. So if something's irritating one of us, it just, you know, kind of brings up the dinner topic for the night and then it's dealt with and then we move on. So...
that's so good.
Yeah.
That quote I read out before about sacrifices when you were 17, 7 years ago. Since then, there's been 2 Olympic cycles, soon to be a third. Have the sacrifices got greater, or is the structure, routine, and discipline pretty much the same?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. When I was 7, I guess it's. To be honest, it feels like as I'm getting older, I'm becoming. This is more my life. That the sacrifices don't feel. I don't know, it just feels like, you know, I've been doing this for a long time and I'm spending more time overseas now that, you know, being overseas for me doesn't really feel like a sacrifice because I've spent so much time over there. So I think the routine and also just maturing and kind of like understanding that world a lot more has made it a lot easier in some ways. I think in other ways, for sure, also, you know, I think the hardest time for being an athlete is when your friends are all having like heaps of fun at uni, whereas now, you know, everyone's finished uni and they're like working and they're like, oh, I hate working. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm like out here skiing all the time. So like now I'm kind of seeing the benefits of, you know, not having fun at uni pay off in a way. But I think, I don't, at least for me, I really love like working hard and having like a routine and like working towards a goal that it doesn't feel like a sacrifice, you know, not, you know, missing out on some stuff for that. And I think
your life's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy, like, I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't enjoying it. And of course, being an athlete, there's like a lot of really hard things about being an athlete, you know, with performance pressures and, I mean, also, you know, being from New Zealand on like the other side of the world. But I feel like on purpose, I've put some structures in place to make it a lot more enjoyable for myself. And I feel like that's what's been happening. And also when things are going well, it's fun. I think the hardest times for me when things aren't going well, and then you kind of like really feel the hard, dark parts about being an athlete when things aren't going the way you want to, which I've also experienced. So I kind of feel knowing how bad it can be makes me appreciate the good times even more. And also like this year I was saying to my coaches, because I got a lot of podiums, I got second and I was disappointed with second. And I was like, wow, like perspective's crazy. Like 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, like during this Winter Olympic season, if you told me like being second, I would have like given anything to have been second. And now being here I am like getting second, being like slightly disappointed about not winning. I'm like, okay, no, like we're good. It's crazy how your perspective can like shift from what like feels good and not. So yeah.
I suppose you always want something more.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you get to number one, and then there is
like,
nothing else. Then it's like, when's my next number one?
Well, then it's like, I think the pressure of how am I supposed to keep this up? Yeah, and like who's chasing me?
Yeah, the goal's always changing. What about just one more question about sacrifice. So your immediate family, like your siblings, your mum and dad, what sacrifices have they made in order to get you to this dominant position in a sport that's almost non-existent in New Zealand?
Yeah, I mean, my parents have, always been so supportive. I mean, they were both like good athletes themselves, but
Were they? What in?
well, they're this is a secret, but they're Australian. So
Oh, no, I know that. I was going to get to that.
yeah,
because
the next one.
Born in
But,
Australia,
yeah.
moved to New Zealand
Yeah,
at 4.
yeah. So they kind of played your typical like country Australia sports. Like dad played rugby, mum played like field hockey. So they both were like big sports people. Like we're a sports family. That's like what we connected over as like a family was athletic stuff. So they always were super encouraging of us doing sports. But they weren't like tiger parents by any means. Like they were very like relaxed, but like they were also like my dad was also like, very passionate about sports and always, encouraged me to push myself and always wanted me to, to do what I was doing properly and like work really hard and take it seriously and like, said to me like, if you want to be supported and, doing this ski racing, like you better be out like running every morning and like being fit, like, kind of thing. So they were always super supportive and not in like an unhealthy like psycho parent way, but in like a very like we want you to like encourage us to work really hard and to have good work ethic.
Well, it's an expensive sport, so if
It
you're
is,
gonna like,
so it was like
they
you
want to
better-
make sure you're not going to get bored after 5 minutes.
It's like make sure you like we want you to do this properly if you're going to do it, otherwise like we're not doing this kind of thing.
You've got a 1-year lift pass.
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting out there every day.
No, and I was really lucky that my parents like supported me when I was a kid, but I was also very lucky that I was good at a young age that I then got like the sponsors and the support to keep going because it's not an easy sport to do. But they also, my mum was always the one like getting up, and my mum was, such a amazing, like would always, no matter how hard something was, she would like make it happen for us. Like if it was, having to drive us 6 hours to go to the slope, she was more than happy to do it. If it was like coming traveling with me, she was like always wanted the best. And I think my siblings, they also ski raced, but then weren't as into it and did more other sports. But I think they definitely felt probably especially my younger brother, like he's such a little legend, but he was definitely a bit like neglected, I think, with like how much attention I got from like the family. But then again, I think they love it now because they can come and support and like be at the races and everything like that. So I think they definitely felt it in the sense that like I was getting like had to have like quite a lot of attention from the parents. Like doing this sport, it takes like a lot of, I guess, focus and like commitment from everyone. But then again, I feel like our family, we did it in quite a good way that no one had to sacrifice too much in terms of, me and my brother went to the same high school and we did this, like he got to do everything like normal. Didn't upheave my whole family and move across the world like other people have done, or like across the country.
Yeah, next time, if your brother ever complains, just tell him that Taylor Swift's whole family moved to Tennessee for her music career, so
exactly.
he can just shut the fuck up.
No, I mean, I think we were quite lucky. There was just, I think, almost like the perfect storm for me because I just think, it was like a perfect storm that I got to go to my local school. We were living in Queenstown, that nothing felt too like dramatic.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't one of those stories that like, the family had to lift and shift, and, so many of these like top athletes, the whole family had to sacrifice everything and move and do all this. I feel like we were quite lucky that like they were already living in Queenstown. We had a good infrastructure that it didn't feel like everyone's lives had to change for me to do good in sport. And that was something that I really didn't want because that put so much pressure on me. Like I said to my parents, I said, I don't want, for a couple of years, I really struggled even having my parents at the races because it felt like so much pressure having my family there that I didn't want. I always said to my parents, like, I just want everyone to have their own life and like whether I'm ski racing or not, it doesn't affect anyone kind of thing. So I was always very conscious of that I didn't want my ski racing to be the kind of personality of the whole family. I wanted everyone to have their own things. And then it's only recently that I've kind of, again, been able to be comfortable with like having the whole family come and support at the races. But it makes me happier seeing when everyone's like got their own things going on. And my ski racing is just like a side quest. It's not the focus of the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of Sydney?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were only 4 when you moved to NZ, eh?
Yeah. So I was really young. I have I grew up on, we lived in Rose Bay, Bondi. So it's pretty much exact opposite of what a typical ski racer. I was in another life I would have been a surfer or a beach volleyball player. But no, I remember I was so young. I remember us living there. I remember going down to the beach and little snippets of my life there. But obviously I spent the majority of my childhood in Queenstown. So
Why did the family move?
my parents actually, they came on holiday, a ski holiday, but they weren't big skiers at all. My parents, my mum had never skied till she was out of school, 20, on a ski holiday in Queenstown, and my dad grew up in Brisbane, far away from the snow. So neither of them were big skiers, but they came to Queenstown on a lot of Australians do on a ski holiday. Just loved it, and were a bit sick of Sydney and the hustle and bustle, and kind of wanted the kids to grow up somewhere a bit more relaxed. And my mum was just a little bit over Sydney scene, and they were like, okay, let's go to Queenstown for a year just to change scenery, and then just never left. Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you touched snow?
No, I don't. I was 3, so it was on a holiday actually from Sydney to Queenstown. Apparently, I don't remember it. And then I remember my mum said that when we moved there, it was cheaper for her to put me in the ski creche, than it was to get a babysitter. So she wanted to get better at skiing. So she'd go up and put me in the skiwi land. And I was the only kid in there. And she said she could go skiing all day and it was cheaper than getting a babysitter at that time. So she just put me in skiwi land all the time. And then there was no other kids in there. So I just would be doing little laps by myself. I was Mum was secretly plotting to have a ski racing child, putting me in skiwi land for all those years.
That's amazing. Is it actually called Skiwi Land? That's such a cool name.
Yeah,
do you remember Skiwi Land?
I remember Skiwi. I do. I actually do remember it. It was great. It's this little section of the ski school up Crodit Peak where it's for under 5s or something that you put them in when the parents want to go skiing, and they.
And are the little kids skiing? Or?
Yeah. So there's pretty much a daycare sort of thing, and then there's a little ski slope.
Are you on toboggans or?
No, you're skiing.
Skis.
Yeah, there's a tiny little magic carpet, and you go out and you go out there, and you normally, I had a private instructor, Mum said there was no other kids in there. She's this is great. This is private ski lessons, babysitter, for all in one, and I get to go skiing all day. So she said that was what I was doing most weekends when I was 4, was just in the skiwi land. Yeah. So she was secretly, without herself knowing, planning my future as a ski racer.
Yeah. I don't think you can underestimate just the significance of that.
Yeah, seriously.
And I heard you described as an aggressive/competitive kid.
Yes.
Is there any obvious parent where that comes from? Or is that?
Well, I think.
Were you aggressive? Do you remember?
No, I'm not aggressive. I think I was just very competitive. It was always I just had to win everything. It didn't matter if it was a sprinting race in the backyard at a birthday party, I had to win, or if it was the the soccer game or the netball game or cross country. I don't know. I was just I was definitely always, sports was my thing, I guess. Some kids love music, some kids love drama. I think I just always loved sports. Was just anything athletic. I just always loved it. I loved athletics. So it was my favorite day of the year at school. I loved, I don't know. I just always loved it. And I think both my parents were probably quite competitive as well in their own way. Both being playing sports and things. So yeah, I think anything I could do at school, I did every sport. I did, athletics. I did, the touch rugby. I did the soccer, netball. I used to horse ride quite a bit as well, so I think I just did everything I could.
Yeah, and before being old enough to sort of regulate your emotions, were you a horrible loser?
I think I was, yeah. I don't think I was very good at losing, and I'm definitely, because now I'm completely fine with losing.
You don't want to. It's never nice.
You never want to lose. But for me, if I've skied really well and I feel I've done everything I could and I lose, I'm more than happy to lose because I feel I've done everything I could. Now I feel frustrated if I feel I didn't do enough and I could have done more. That's when I feel the frustration. I don't feel the frustration from the loss itself. But yeah, I think as a kid I was, maybe not the best loser.
Was there a moment when you realised that you had a gift?
I don't know if there was a specific moment. I think as a kid it was, even from when I was like probably like as early as I can remember, it was always my dream to be like the best in the world at a sport. I don't think I knew what sport it was, but like I remember watching like Olympics as like a 7-year-old and being like, I'm going to do that. Like maybe more Summer Olympics. I think I probably was watching the sprinting being like, oh, I'm going to be a sprinter. Like, you know how everyone loves watching the like 100-meter sprint as a kid. I was like, I'm going to win the sprint, 100-meter sprint. But I always loved sport, and I think I'd played so many, but I just loved ski racing because I think it combined so many things about my personality, like the competition, but also the fearlessness, like adrenaline. You don't really get that from a lot of other sports, that like rush, I suppose. And I don't know, it just always felt like a bigger deal to me than any other sport. And I don't know if I ever felt like I had a gift, but I think probably when I won this like international kids race when I was like 12, and then I also won the US Nationals when I was like 13. I was like, okay. I know people were saying to me, oh, you're quite good. I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I could do. And I remember every time, like, you know, you like make a wish or something, I'd always be like, I want to be like the best ski racer ever. That was like what I used to wish.
You know, and I suppose, oh, that's cute. But do you look back and think, oh, I should have wished for something even bigger than that?
Yeah,
like,
I know. It's pretty funny, but
yeah, and it must be quite nice and validating at that age. Yeah, people telling you that you've got something special.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny now to like look back at it, because it's like now it seems a bit ridiculous to me that people would like tell a 12-year-old like, oh, you've got something special. Like that seems a bit funny to me, but at the time, yeah, I think it was cool. But maybe it did give me like the motivation to like keep pushing. And I was never someone who was easily intimidated, I guess, by like hard competitors or like older people. I think especially when I went into the open age group, that kind of became a bit more of a drive, because a lot of times when people are successful in the younger like kids age group, they get to the open age group and just freak out because they're now racing like 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds. But I think for me, I kind of loved running that like underdog mentality into like the open age group. And I was like, oh yeah, now this is awesome. I've got like, you know, a measure, because you start getting world ranked when you get into the open age group. And getting these things called FIS points, which is like your ranking points. And for me, it became like a challenge. Like, okay, like this is where it starts to go. And I think I kind of stepped up from that, which was cool. But I don't think I ever thought I had a gift, but I just loved the kind of challenge of ski racing, and I just loved it as a sport. Yeah.
Was there a moment when you realised it could be your career?
Oh, I think probably when I won that like international kids race in Canada. It was kind of like a telling, like, oh, if you win...
At what age? Like 12?
Yeah, it was like 13. It was like a telling, like, oh, if you win this, this is like the stepping stone to becoming like a professional, because it's kind of like, oh, you're the best in your age group in the world, sort of thing, or like in North America. So I think probably then it was like, and I don't think any Kiwis had won it before, so it was kind of like a, okay, this could be something.
It sort of seems like a far-fetched dream at that point, though, eh?
It
like
does,
being intermediate age thing.
Well, that's what I'm looking at it now. I'm like, if someone would, for me, like seeing a 12, like could never tell. I mean, unless it's like freakish, but I mean, for me, it seems a bit odd to say to a 12-year-old, like, this is going to be your career. Like for me now, being like 23 and being in the sport, I'm like, why would you tell a 12-year-old that? Like, that's so weird. I don't know. I think, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe at the time it didn't seem that. I don't think at the time it felt far-fetched to me at all. Like, I think I always had kind of big dreams and aspirations, so it didn't feel like anything unreachable at all. Whereas now I think about like, oh my God, imagine telling a 12-year-old that. Like, it seems bizarre, like, go be a 12-year-old. I'm like, it seems weird.
Yeah, it's like, it's crazy though. From where you were sitting right now, that's like half your life ago.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about this the other day, and it was freaking me out because I won my first World Cup in 2019 in Solden, which was 6 years ago. And I think about, okay, I was 17 then. And then I think about 6 years before that, I was 11. And I'm like, that's just been the same amount of time, but it feels like that chunk from like 11 to 17 is such a bigger time of your life than 17 to 23, but it's been the same amount of time, which like freaks me out. That like, yeah, it's kind of scary.
And when did you first get some money from it, either through a sponsorship or prize money? How old were you then?
I think... Yeah, 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah.
What was that? Can you remember how much?
Oh.
Was it like a big ceremonial Happy Gilmore check?
I think, the first time was my second year FIS, so I was 17, my first World Cup podium. I think I got about like 30,000 euros. So I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
I can do this for a job.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, like as a 17-year-old,
Wow.
it's like, oh my God, like here we go, this is happening. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's much better than working at the Frankton Foursquare.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So I think that was
Shit.
like.
Wow. Were your parents like, oh, make sure you invest it?
Yeah, I don't think I even thought about it, to be honest. I think I was like at that point I was still in high school and my parents were like managing all that for me, so I wasn't really like, it wasn't like the financial stuff has never really been a driver for me. I mean, it's obviously you need it to keep doing it and do the sport, but I mean, for me it wasn't really about the paycheck. It was kind of just like a consequence of I've been more fussed about the result. Getting second at the World Cup was insane. Like, and then the other stuff that happened after that was just kind of a byproduct, but it wasn't like the driver at all. But it was pretty cool. Yeah.
I suppose if you get the results, everything else will take care of
Yeah,
itself.
well, that's kind of, I think for me, that's always been my mentality is like the results first, and then like it's not like anyone, I think, goes into a race being like, I need to win this for the prize money. You know, it's like, okay, no, I need to ski fast and win the race, and then, you know, what else happens. But
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some of your career. Hopefully we'll run through sort of in a chronological sort of way. Mm-hmm. So the big breakthrough was at 16 when you won the silver at the 2019 Junior World Championships.
So, yeah, almost. So I won the Junior Worlds when I was 17, which then gave me an invite to the World Cup finals in March. So that was like my second year in the open age group. So I just turned 17. And then, so 17, I turned 17 in December, and then in February I won the World Junior Champs. And then in March I got the invite to the World Cup finals because I was World Junior Champion, and that's when I got second, my first podium, which isn't like, because normally like the World Junior kind of gets invited as like a token thing to the World Cup finals. It's not like they're expected to do that well because because you can be like a junior until you're 21, I think. So obviously there's been juniors who have been on like in the top 5 before, but if you weren't because only the top 25, sorry, a little bit confusing, only the top 25 get invited to the finals. It's so if you're not in the top 25 and you get invited as World Junior Champion, you're kind of just there as like a token extra. And then I went there and I was like starting last, like worst ranked by far, and I ended up getting second, and that was kind of my big breakthrough. And then the next race was the World Cup opener, and that's when I won in Solden in October. So it was like a very quick progression from like, I think it was only my like 10th World Cup start, which is like not many at all for getting a win. It's really like a very short amount of races.
Yeah, just describe that moment. Is that life-changing? Would you call it life-changing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember when I won my first race in Solden, it was huge. It was huge because I beat Michaela Schifrin, who was at the time had just, like the year before, it had like the best season ever. She's now like, you know, the greatest ski racer of all time statistically. And I was like a 17-year-old from New Zealand who beat Michaela Schifrin. It was like a massive story. I think I got like 30,000 followers on Instagram, like in like a few hours. It was like, because in Europe, I mean, it's a huge sport for them. So for them having a Kiwi come in at 17 and beat Michaela was like, it was massive. It was really cool. And I didn't really realise it at the time, you know, because I was just so young, and I was like, oh, you know, this is like ski racing thing, but now I'm going to fly home and like go to my high school graduation. Like it was like kind of nothing, but it was a big deal. So that was definitely life-changing in terms of, you know, I guess, because, you know, I say like when I was 12 that, oh, I'm going to do this as my job, but I don't think it ever felt real until I got like my first podium at a World Cup, because that's when you're actually, okay, here, like I'm doing this now. And then getting a win was kind of like, oh, okay, like maybe I'm actually going to be like not just okay at this, but like really good at this sort of thing. And then, yeah, and to have it like happen that quickly, I think was amazing, but like also like a little bit of a blessing and a curse to like get that success so quickly without really understanding what I was doing.
Yeah, I can understand why you'd say it's a blessing, but why is it a curse?
Well, I think just because I think when you have success really young, especially, you know, some people have success when they're really young, you know, they've grown up with this their whole life, their parents, their coaches, this has been like, you know, their kind of religion their whole life. I think for me, it just felt like this kind of side quest that all of a sudden I was winning, and I was like, okay, well, like, what do I do now? Like, I've already like done it, you know. And
I'm
I
already
didn't.
the best in
well,
the
that's
world.
why I was like, well, what do I do? And I just think I kind of got a bit lost with, you know, the processes that you have to learn being a professional athlete. Like, what is my routines in the morning? Like, how do I train? What am I working on? What are the things that work for me when I feel pressure? I feel stressed because I won so early, but I also had like no pressure because I was 17 and like so carefree and like free spirited that, you know, I was always like I said, my mentality has changed a lot. Like when I was in the start gate as a 17-year-old, I just would go full gas, like no thoughts and everything. I don't remember any of those race runs. It was just like full kind of black and white, like don't remember anything. And now as I've gotten older, I've had to, through failure, and, you know, that kind of mentality doesn't work all the time, just going like full ballistic without having any processes in place. And that's when I kind of started to struggle. Things weren't going well. I was like, oh, I'm stressed because things aren't going well. Like, I don't have any tools to deal with this. And I feel extra pressure because I've already won a World Cup. So if I'm not winning anymore, then I'm failing, even though I'm just 17 and I'm trying to figure it out. So it was like a lot of kind of extra pressure with like, you know, having 10 World Cup races under my belt, for example. Now I have like 105 starts, which is normally people would have probably about like, before getting a win, would have like, you know, over at least like 30 to 50 starts. So you've kind of been doing this for long enough that you understand the way the sport works and the highs and lows. And I didn't have any of that. You know, I'd done 10 World Cup races and I just thought, okay, I won. I need to do this every week now. And I was also getting thrown, you know, so many other things like, oh, now you should start doing this discipline. And I was like, looking back now, I'm like, if I could do it again, I would have put like zero. I would have like sat myself down and said like, okay, this is awesome what you've done, but this is not like, don't expect this to happen every week. Like I said, in ski racing, every week's different. Every course is different. Snow conditions change. Like when I was young, I was really good on like like when it was hard conditions, like icy. And every week, one week could be icy, one week it could be soft because it's warm. It could have rained. Like the snow can be completely different. The course set can be different. It could be really a flat course. It could be steep. There's so many variables at play. And just because you won this one race doesn't mean you're going to win every week. And I think I had in my head that I've won this now, so if I don't win every race now, I'm like a failure and I'm doing something wrong. And I think that's how I felt. So when I wasn't hitting like the expectations, like, and then it comparted me, like, and then it just kind of got worse and worse because I wasn't doing it. And then I was like, why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing well? And it just kind of got worse and worse and I struggled. So I think when you get old, like if you have success when you've been kind of poking in top 10 for 2 years and then you start getting a couple top 5s and then you get a podium and you kind of around the podium for like a year and then you get a win and you're like 24, like most people when they all, you know, mid-20s and you get your first win, you've had like already 5 years of experience to understand the way the sport works. And I think I had none of that. So for me, I was just kind of this kid who thought they should be winning everything with like zero understanding of what it actually took, like week in, week out to be doing that.
Well, I suppose, in fairness to you, like, 5 years earlier, you'd had people telling you that you were that good. And so I suppose in a way it was just this destiny that you felt was rightfully yours.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in a way, I think I always felt like, oh, this is, I'm going to be the best at this. But it's easy to say that and then to actually do it in practice. And this isn't like a, weekend sport. This is like a massive industry in Europe. For me, coming from New Zealand, I don't think I also understood like the scale of this sport and like the following and the money involved and the ski companies involved and the brands involved and the media involved.
And it was all in
the opportunities and the all of that. And also just, kind of learning about life, being a 17-year-old on the other side of the world by yourself. There's a lot of other things that you have to figure out, like, how do I approach things? Like, okay, I'm overseas by myself in foreign countries. Like, I don't know anyone. I don't speak the language. Like, just feeling a little bit lost in general as well. Also, I'm in the middle of a pandemic, which was kind of the following year. Like, there was a lot of factors at play that made things hard, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the pandemic years in a second, but at that time when you podiumed, you were called things like a phenom and a wonderkind.
Wonderkind.
I always thought it was wonderkind.
Yeah, wonderkind. It's like a German, like wonderkind.
What is it? What's wonderkind?
It means wonder child.
Right.
In German.
I always thought it was wonderkid.
Yeah, wonderkind.
Kind.
Kinder.
What did that do for you? Like, did it build your confidence, or did it just create unwanted pressure?
I think to a point, like when I first got into open age group, I dropped my world ranking quite fast. And I think having that kind of, oh, you're good, like that gave me a lot of motivation to keep pushing to really get good. I think when I won my first race, it put pressure, for sure. And like I said, it was like being called a wonderkind, it's like, oh, okay, like in a way it adds like confidence as well. And I won like another race that same season. And then I think for me, when it was all going well, it was, all good. And then when things started to go wrong or like not go the way that I wanted, or like, for me getting like stuck in these like ruts of, I've DNF'd one race, which is like I did not finish. So it's just like no result. And then I would go through these like spells of trying so hard that I would like crash out. And then you just have like no results for like 3 weeks. And it's basically just like you weren't there because you don't get any points, which then affects your world ranking. So those are the times then you kind of start seeing media be like, wonderkind, like what's happened sort of thing. And then it's like, that's when it gets stressful. And I felt the pressure. And I also was comparing myself to someone like Michaela, because Michaela, we won our first races at quite a similar age. And she's now like the greatest skier of all time statistically. She's won like 100 World Cup races. So
how many has she not won?
Yeah, so on paper, I mean, like she is the best.
Yeah.
And we won, our first races at similar times. So there was a bit of pressure too, like, oh, you should be the next Michaela. And looking back at it now, and I also like people like, Lindsay Vonn, who's the second best of all, she won her first race when she was, I think, 20. So like 3 years older than me. So people like to me, oh, you're going to be like, the next Michaela, even because you won race at the same time, your first race. And I think I kind of put pressure on myself, like, oh, then now I have to do like everything Michaela's done at the same times. Like she won Olympic gold then at 18 and like won, has gone on to win all these races. And then it kind of took me like a year or two to realise, like, okay, obviously, we won our first race at the same time, but we have like completely different stories. I mean, she's an American. She's like, is on, probably a part of the biggest organisation, one of the biggest organisations in skiing. I'm like just a random New Zealander, like figuring this out by myself, like,
you're
completely
definitely an outlier. I suppose it's like Stephen Adams in the NBA. It's
just completely different stories. So then when I stopped comparing myself to other people and expecting, okay, you should be winning this, you should be winning that, I was like, and then I think that was just because I was young, I didn't know. And then you look at every ski racer, like all top ski racers have had such different, peaks, pits, falls. Everyone has such different stories that there's not like a timeline that you hit. And I've spoken to other athletes about this as well, like who have peaked, who've started, like some other athletes who have become amazing skiers, like didn't win a first race till they were like 22, 23 or even older. And they've gone on to like have their most success at an older age. And they all said that as soon as they let go of that feeling of, I've got to have done this by this point, then they all feel a lot better. So I think as soon as I let that go, it's when I kind of felt like free again to write my own sort of story, I guess, and not be feeling pressured to fit into like these categories of having achieved this at this age or achieved that at that age. So, yeah.
So 2018, you made your first Olympics, your debut in Pyeongchang.
Yeah.
Youngest New Zealand Olympian ever.
Yeah, I got Nico by like 2 weeks, I think. So. He got the medal though. So.
Nico, Zoe and yourself all about the same age. But
we're all 2001. So I just got them because I'm December, but they got the medal.
Right.
So.
What are your recollections of that? You just got the call up, like the shoulder tap to go like a couple of weeks before?
Yeah. So Pyeongchang, that was my first year racing open age group, so FIS. And I'd done really well that first year. I think I was like ranked first my age in the world. So I got the call up to go, and it was so cool because...
Like how much notice? Like 2 weeks?
Yeah,
3
2
weeks?
weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Like confirmed, I think 2 weeks. I think I had, when I started doing well that year, I thought, okay, Olympics is a possibility. But I mean, I just got to go, and they, like, obviously I wasn't a medal contender, but they just wanted to give me that exposure to get there and check it out. So I mean, for me it was so cool because it was kind of like a no pressure sort of situation. I was just 16, my first year racing open age group, so I was probably ranked like 35th, I think, in the world, or like 40th. And they just said, we want you to go and get the opportunity to experience like the Olympics and, learn about the differences between the Olympics and another event. So I got to go and I felt like I actually got to experience like a bit more of the Olympics without the pressure, which was cool. So it was overall like nothing great results wise, but it was a really positive experience, and it was cool to like be with the rest of the team, because normally when I'm at events, like I'm the only one there, so it was cool to be a part of like, because normally I'm just racing for myself, on the World Cup circuit. It was cool like racing for something a bit bigger, like being on like the New Zealand team and having other athletes was quite cool. So that was genuinely like a really cool experience.
Yeah, whose call is it to send you? Is it the New Zealand Olympic Committee?
Yeah, so I don't even know how it works. I think how it works is you get nominated to the New Zealand Olympic Committee by Stowe Sports, and then it's kind of a collaborative thing. And I think, I think that's how it works. So you get nominated, and then NZOC makes the decision. Yeah.
So that's investing in future you, right? They're like, this girl's going to be around for another couple of Olympic cycles. Let's get her debut one out of her system so she knows what it's all about.
I think
that's really smart.
Well, I think there's a few like clauses in Olympic, because there's obviously criteria that they're quite aware of wanting to give younger athletes who have potential an opportunity as well. So, I mean, it was pretty cool for me getting to get the shot at the nod at 16. Like, okay, like I went from racing like kids events, and then 6 months later I was at the Olympics. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Like this is the real deal now.
How was it going to the Olympics so young? Who went with you as your chaperone? Mum and dad?
No, we didn't have. I don't think we had a chaperone. I think me and Zoe, we were all like in a apartment, and they were like older, like we had like there was only like 4 girls going, so we had like a girls' apartment. It was like me, Zoe, like Britt Hawes and Janina, and then a couple of the physios, so we were all there together, and then my coach came as well, and then my parents came, but a support crew, so it was really cool. Yeah,
it must be. Yeah, I don't know if you've thought much about this, but like from your parents' perspective, here they are, just a couple of Aussies, moved to New Zealand at 4. Then at 16, their daughter's at the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, for them, they're probably like not expecting their life to go down that path, like after moving to New Zealand. Like, I don't know. For them,
if you stayed in Australia, like you could have been at schoolies that weekend.
That's if I was in Australia, I feel like I just would have ended up playing like field hockey or something like my mum. So it's probably just like a slightly more exotic sports that they were planning than they were planning. But I mean, they love it though. Like they're such big ski fans. It's pretty funny for like not being big skiers. Like they're so like they just love it. They love like coming to Europe and being part of it. Like they just I think it's great. So
they must have learned so much about the sport. Like are they able to sort of critique your races?
I mean, I think to be honest, they've never really they've kind of stayed out of it. I think my like dad was smart that he kind of listened to the right people about things and never like tried to make any decisions himself, because he knew that he didn't know anything about it. So like I think in that way they were good at like not trying to like step in places that they didn't understand either. And now they've just kind of really, I mean, they've never like tried to give me like advice or like, technical advice about skiing or like, it's always the only, like I go to them for like a lot, but it's more like, emotional stuff, nothing to do with the sport itself, because they both like
it's out of their league.
It's like them, and they don't try to like understand it because they know that I've got a lot more understanding than they do, so they just support in things that they know about, but they've never tried to like overstep in trying to be ski experts, because they're not.
So February 18, 2020, you become the joint world #1 ranked skier in women's giant slalom.
Yeah. So that was on like a FIS rankings list. I think that year I was actually like 5th in the standings, but I'd had 2 wins, so it made me like the joint #1 on the FIS list. But so that was when I was 18. Yeah, I'd won 2 races. And I'd won the last race before COVID struck. So I'd won that race, and then the last 3 GS races got cancelled due to COVID, and then it was like
what's that moment like? Is it just
honestly, I felt pretty invincible. The last race that I won before COVID hit, I remember the amount of like what I remember watching that run back, and I just had this like insane race. Like it just looked like, people were saying to me like, oh, no one's like going to be able to beat her in GS like ever. Like it was pretty cool at the time. I mean, I was just like an 18-year-old and, the things just lined up so well that I was in a really great place. I mean, I'm not sure what would have happened that season if, like, hadn't everything been shut down due to COVID. Like, I could have won the last 3 races and won the Globe for that year. I don't know. Or I could have never have won again that season. But definitely having, this is a pretty, obviously COVID threw, a spanner in the works for me, as it did for, everyone in the world. So, after that race, we all went into COVID lockdown mode. And then just went home to New Zealand and kind of sat at home for 7 months or 6 months and didn't ski. And then that next year went back overseas and was kind of trying to do it in a new world, really. And I found it quite challenging the next year. Yeah. A
new world, how do you mean? Just post-COVID?
Well, during COVID. So it was 2020, Europe. We were in Italy. We were everything was closed. So we were in New Zealand, no one could do anything. And then I had to go over to Europe by myself while New Zealand was shut as an 18-year-old and try and live in this Italy stricken COVID, getting tests every 3 days, living in complete isolation. Everyone just turned into such recluses because no one could interact either because we were getting tested every 3 days. So no one wanted to get COVID and I was so young, no family around. It was super tough. Looking back on it now, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how I did that. But I mean, first world problems, I guess. People are in bigger problems. But
I fully get that because there's there's homesickness and then there's COVID homesickness. Homesickness has, and you can be in Europe. Mm-hmm. You can FaceTime your family, but you could do that during COVID. But you can also know that if things get really bad, you can just jump on a plane and be home in 24 hours. Yeah. And COVID, you're stranded somewhere.
Yeah, it was
and there's no sign on the horizon of how or when you'd get back home.
No, nothing. And I remember it was when you couldn't get a quarantine spot either. Yeah. And I couldn't get a visa either. So I was overstaying in Europe and I was like, well, if I get pulled up at the border, I'm just going to say oh, look, I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't get back. Sorry. Ended up not having any problems, so it was fine. But I think as an 18-year-old, that was quite stressful because at that point I was still very attached to home. I think obviously now if that had happened, I would be completely fine and have the tools and know the right people to deal with it. But as an 18-year-old, New Zealand was still very much my whole world. My centre of the world was New Zealand still. So being in Europe, I just felt so isolated. And I found it really hard. I think that year was really challenging. But at the end of that season, I did win a race again. So I didn't do well that whole year pretty much. And then the last 2 races, I somehow managed to get my groove back and I got a podium and then I won the finals race of the year. And I was like, okay, that was tough, but I'm out the other side now. And then that next year, it just got harder again, I think.
What year are we at now?
So this was 2020, 2021. Yep. I finished the year with another World Cup win, so I was 19. And then I think I became the first teenager to win more than 1 GS since or to win over 2 GSs since the 80s or something. So back again, everything was on track. And then that next year it just got so much harder again. Yeah. I think that was the Olympics year, was the next year, 2021, 2022. Yeah, Beijing.
Let's talk about that. So 2022, there was a Stuff story headline that I saw, and it's calling you a Winter Olympic medal hopeful, which sounds like a lot of pressure. Yeah. And then at those Olympics, you finished in 22nd place. Mm-hmm. Was that rock bottom, would you say?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I remember this year, I came into it feeling so well prepared. Things were going really well. I'd started racing more Super G and downhill. And in December, I think, I finished 4th in a Super G, which was a massive breakthrough. So now I was oh my God, I could get a medal in 2 events. And then the next day I tested positive for COVID and I missed 2 weeks of racing. And it was a really bad time to miss races. It was I missed 5. It was bad timing that I missed a huge 5 races, which in ski racing is really stressful because I guess it would be the same missing a race in Formula 1. You just lose out on the points and then you go back, your ranking drops. So it was really stressful because I was okay, I've just missed 3 races. I've really got to make up for it now. in the next ones, and I was skiing so well, but I'd like just come off COVID and I had like zero energy, and I like crashed the next 2 races because I just lost all my energy like 3/4 of the way down. I think I had like a little bit like lacking some energy probably from having COVID. And I was like, okay, but then my Super G was going like pretty well this year, or like tracking, but nothing like special. But the GS was just a disaster. Like I'd missed 4 races because of COVID, like missed 3 races because of COVID. I'd crashed in 2. So my season GS was basically completely finished because I was like, I'm not going to have any of these points. And that puts more pressure in. So, okay, now I really need to do well in this race because I've missed that and I've crashed there. And then going to Beijing, I remember I was like pretty exhausted just from the whole, like just the season that'd been, like just the COVID and then crashing, and I was just feeling like, oh my God, I'm so like trying to play catch up so badly. Anyway, get to Beijing, had like, I think, it was just so, I remember just being so wigged out flying into Beijing airport, which is supposed to be like the busiest airport in the world, and there's no one there. Like we're the only plane in the airport. I was like, this just feels so eerie. And we're all like lining up for our COVID tests, and I was just like, oh, like this is weird. But anyway, bit of a novelty, so it's fine. Get to the Olympic Village. I'm the only Kiwi at our village, so it's quite like isolating as well. There's like nowhere to socialise. You're like eating in these little like cubes, getting tested every morning. Like it's just bizarre, but you know, it's what it is. Anyway, I go to like do the training, like I'm there. It's not like a normal Olympic, like it was a completely different vibe to Korea, but I mean, it's fine. And then training actually was going so well. You know, I'd had like such a bad season, obviously, with the crashes but I was like, I know that I can still win this, even this season that I've had. Like I've still got it in me to like do well in this race. And training was going really well. I was like one of the fastest in training, felt so good. And then got to the race, and they'd like sprayed the slope with water, and the surface like came out. Like it was really bizarre because it's all man-made snow in China. There's no natural snow, and they'd sprayed it. And I remember just going out of the start and having like just complete loss of like control over my skis. Like the surface and my skis just like didn't work. Like nothing was working. My skis were sliding all over the place. Like fishing, it was just like
I know that feeling.
Just had zero effect. It felt like I couldn't ski. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like it was just, I don't know if it was like a mixture of the conditions and or just me like being. I mean, I was really nervous, but it just felt like I couldn't ski. And I think it was a bit of a mixture of the obviously being nervous and the conditions being so different there to anything else. And a lot of people kind of struggled. Like Michaela fell on like the 3rd gate, another top girl fell on like the 5th gate. Like it was just really odd conditions. And I remember like if it had been any other race, I would have stopped. I probably would have came out, but I just tried. So I was like, no, like I need to finish this. And it was just brutal. It was like complete battle. Like every turn felt like alien, like just so weird. I'd like remember I got to the finish and I was just in like complete shock. And I remember being in the tent after the first run, just like completely bawling my eyes out. Like, I can't believe this has happened. Like, because it's over so quickly. It's like 1 minute, it's done. And I actually remember Michaela, because she also crashed, Schifrin, came up to me and like sat me down and gave me like a pep talk because she felt so sorry for me because I was so upset. Anyway, battled and did the second run. It was definitely probably my worst GS result in like 5 years time-wise, like from the leader. And it was just like, oh my God, like that couldn't have got, and I like got to the end of the day and I was talking to my physio, I was like, I don't think that day could have been any worse. Like the only thing worse would have been if I'd crashed and hurt myself. Like that's the only thing that would have been worse than this. Like it probably, anyway. So it was really tough. It was just like, really upsetting. And yeah, I remember I had also the Super G event to do, and I was, okay, I'm going to like really like regroup now, get myself ready for Super G. I like took every bit of energy and like motivation and like fuel and passion that I had to get re-motivated for the Super G. And I remember I was saying to the coaches, I was like, I'm like getting on the podium or I'm going the fence in this race. And I remember I got so fired up. And yeah, there was this big bank turn and every girl was like skidding it a little bit to speed control. And I remember watching it on TV because I had like bib 16. I was like, oh no, I'm not skidding that. Like I'm going full. I'm gonna like clean arc that, which for us is like when you don't scrub any speed. And I go down the course. I'm actually doing really well at the second intermediate. I was like third on the splits, and I was like, oh, I'm arcing this. Like I'm not sliding. And it's a bank, just slightly mistimed it and just crashed so hard into the nets. Lost my ski, like tumbled, got up, skied to the finish. And I was actually completely fine, but I was like, okay, I think I'm actually broken after this. I was like, this is brutal. And I'm like, luckily I can laugh about it now, but at the time it was pretty tough. I was like...
How long was it before you could laugh about it?
Oh, probably the next season.
Right.
Yeah, it took me, like, because after that I was like so checked out for the rest of the season as well. Was so exhausted, like mentally, physically. I like had to go back to Europe and finish the season because we still had like 5 weeks, 6 weeks left of the tour because obviously it's like every weekend to keep my ranking. Couldn't finish another GS for the season. So last 3 GSs I crashed. I just, like the thought of getting to, I just was completely like mentally broken. Like finished the season and then that's when I was like, oh my God. And I was just so checked out. And that was definitely the hardest season I've done on tour. It was, that was like a shock. Like, okay, this is not fun. Like, I'm not enjoying this at all.
And those Beijing Olympics, obviously your parents can't be there because of strict travel restrictions. How's that initial phone call?
Yeah, I think I just rang my mum and I was just in tears and she was just like, oh, I can't remember what she said, but I think they were just trying to like console me really and just...
Suddenly you're like a child again.
Yeah, well that's what I'm like I'm ringing my mum as like a 20-year-old who's just like inconsolable, like a baby having like a tantrum, you know, like, and it seems so silly at the time because at the end of the day, you know, this is a sport, you know, it's not life and death, but I guess when your whole world revolves around something and it's something that I've tried to kind of put perspective in is like, you know, this is sport and it's what I do, but I mean, trying not to let something affect you so deeply because it really like affected me so deeply. Like nothing's affected me that much. I've never let a result get to me that much again since then, which is something I think I learned from that.
Well, it's not nice, but there is that saying that failure is a stepping stone to success, and you learn more from your fails than your wins, and it's all true. It still sucks at the time, right?
It does, yeah.
Why didn't you give up then?
I mean, I never thought like, oh, I'm gonna like giving up. I don't know, it sounds cheesy. Giving up was never an option. No, but it never crossed my mind to like that I was gonna give up.
Not even for a slither of a second.
No.
Wow.
Like it didn't. I think I just knew that I needed a break or like a change. Yeah.
What did that period or that Olympic cycle teach you about who you are beyond skiing?
It was. Yeah, thinking, I mean, I haven't thought about it for a while now, but thinking back
Sorry
to
about
it.
that.
Yeah, no, I'm like, oh,
Sorry to
reliving.
take you back to the darkest season of your life.
Yeah, reliving trauma, no. I think that season, like, I think after that season, I was like, wow, okay, maybe this isn't, like, my everything. Like, maybe I'm not cut out for this, like, the way I thought. And I was like, okay, maybe I need, like, something else outside of my life than just skiing. I was like, maybe I'm not, like... And like for someone who had success so early, it came so naturally. I was like, God, the thought of like ever being on a podium, like just seems like impossible right now. Like I can't even imagine how I'm ever going to be like winning a World Cup race again. I was like, that just seems like so far from where I am right now. And I remember watching like a race that I DNF'd in and seeing the last 3 girls come down like in the second run and just being like, well, I just can't believe like I was ever in that position. Like watching that, I'm like, I just can't imagine ever being in that position again. Like I just feel like I'm not even a part of the sport right now. So it kind of taught me like, okay, I think maybe like, I mean, it kind of shook me a bit that it was the first time I think I ever thought like, oh, maybe I'm not cut out for this the way that I thought I was. So maybe I did think that, like not giving up, but I was like questioning my ability and like how good I was for probably the first time. Yeah. Yeah.
And when results don't come, how do you protect your self-worth from being tied to just the performance?
I think it's a lot about the people you surround yourself with. I think sometimes if you're around the wrong people, you feel pressure and like your sense of worth strictly comes from results. And that's where especially with who I have around me now, I know like they know me so well and they know me more as like a person than an athlete. And I know that they're going to treat me the same, whether I've won a race or whether I've come 8th or whether I've crashed. So I think it's really important that you keep your people close, like your family, your trusted friends. I think, there's a lot of like transactional relationships in sports. And I think it's really important to hold on to those relationships that are non-transactional and have, good people around you. And friends that, you've known before you were an athlete or before you were like a world-class athlete that you can go and have fun with, and you're not like some athlete, you're just you. So I think it's really important to have the right people around you.
Yeah, people that can remind you even without words that skiing's what you do, but it's not who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And have I got this right? This year, 2025, you had your first win in almost 4 years?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I know.
Oh, what was that like? Oh, that must have, was it a joyous or relief?
It was like, if I could think of like a picture perfect day, like that was probably it. To be fair, like, from the 2023-24 season so the last 2 seasons have been going really well. I think every race that I've finished since the middle of 2024 season, so like January 2024, I've been on the podium in GS. So, and the year before I'd lost a race by 100th. I'd been second by 100th. So I knew I was ready for it. It wasn't like a shock or anything. I was like really ready for that win, but to finally get it, it was just, like a big weight lifted off my shoulders in a way. And it was like a perfect day. I had my family there, my whole team, like heaps of friends. It was in like one of my favourite places on tour. It was in Kronplatz, which is close to Cortina, in the Dolomites as well. It was on a really difficult slope. I think the second run, because I'd been, second, third in the last 3 races, and I'd felt like I said before, I'm never upset if I lose. It's just if I feel like I can do more and I didn't do it, that I get upset now. And I wasn't upset, but I was like, okay, I feel like in those races I've left something out there. Like I've got another gear that I can go to. And the second run, I was finally brave enough, like after kind of all this kind of troubling time, I feel like, to really let go and like trust myself again, that I can go for this like 100%. And that's what I did in the second run. I came down and I was wanting, because basically in the second run you have like an advantage that you watch on TV and it goes like green or red on different areas on the splits. So I came down, and immediately when you cross the finish you can see like red light, green light, whether you're like still in the lead or not. And I came down and I saw like this big green light, like 0.96 something, which for us is quite a significant advantage. And also said, okay, on the second run I was the fastest, so because they count back from, if you won the first run, you go 30th in the second run. It's like a kind of a showdown in the second run. And I was 5th after the first run, so I came down with this big advantage and had to sit nervously in this like leader's chair for the last 4 to come down to see if they'd beat me. And you're just kind of watching each one come down like, like each split, it's like, okay, red, okay, they're red behind me. So watching them come down and managing to hold on for like the last 4, no one could, everyone lost their advantage. So I won, and I was in complete shock because the last girl to come down, she missed a gate. She came out, I wasn't expecting it. So I ended up winning. And there's like a video of me on TV and I'm just like, I'm like in shock because I was like, oh my God, finally. And then in my like post-race interview, I just start like bawling my eyes out. I'm like, well, I'm not bawling, but I'm crying. I'm like really emotional because, and I think I said it in the interview that, it'd been so long and like, all the stuff that I've gone through, like to finally get here, it was just felt like this weight's been lifted off my shoulders and like having all the family there, it was just, it was amazing.
Did you sleep well that night?
Yeah, I did. I was like, what a day. It was like, it was just, it was awesome. Yeah.
Wow. So it puts you in a good position, I suppose, mentally for the 2026 Olympics. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What are your expectations there? Are you just going there are you going to relax, have fun and see what happens?
I mean, for sure, I think it's impossible not to go with expectations and, wanting to do well. Of course, that's something now, I've won World Cups, I've have world championship medals. Like my thing that I'm missing now is like an Olympics medal, or, you know, ideally a gold medal. But I mean, for me, it's not, you know, there's so many things that have to fall into place to get those, especially in our sport, you know, like it's not black and white, it's not a track, it's not like a sprinter's track, you know, there's so
variables.
so many variables, like weather, snow conditions, there's so much. So all I really need to do, I just want to do everything I can to be in the best position and then do what I can on the day, but I'm not going to like tie my self-worth to whether I get like an Olympic medal or not. So I'm trying not to put that kind of insane amount of pressure about 2 minutes of my life to define everything. So
Who needs that? Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't. It'll be disappointing because I know how much work you've put into it.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Through those slumpy years, how was your mental health?
Not great post-Olympics and the next season. So, like, that season and the next season wasn't great. Like, that's when I really fell out of, like, when I was saying before how I'm, like, really happy what I'm doing now and I don't feel like I'm sacrificing much because I love it. That was when I felt like, oh, like, why am I doing this to myself? I was just, so miserable. I still loved skiing, of course, but just the lack of results and the, I guess I don't think I also, after that next season, like the 22-23 season, I changed my whole team as well because just nothing felt like it was working for me. Like I was so kind of just felt like in a rut. I couldn't find the joy in any of it anymore, like the racing or the traveling. Everything just felt like such a chore. Not a chore, but, you know, like a slog, not enjoyable. I wasn't finding the fun things in anything anymore. I think also, you know, post-COVID, when everyone was so recluse, they kind of fell back into themselves a bit. So I think coming out of that as well. And so I just wasn't very happy, just felt unmotivated. I know my spark for the sport had fully gone. I didn't feel the fire anymore that I did when I was younger. And that's when I decided to change up my whole team. And honestly, since then, things have just been going so much better. And now I absolutely love what I'm doing. I'm so happy every day. I feel the happiest when I'm up the mountain training. That's where I get the most joy out of anything. And so, I think probably, it's been kind of nuts to me to see the changes over the years, through everything and figuring out what makes me happy and what doesn't. So,
Are you proud of yourself?
No, of course I'm proud. It's been such a journey and such a cool life that I've got to live. So I feel really grateful for everything and, I'm proud.
How many more years are you going to keep doing it? Do you just take it season by season or?
Kind of season by season, but I think at least this Olympics and maybe one more, and then we'll see. But as long as I've still got the motivation and the passion for it, then I want to keep going for sure.
And as long as you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If skiing was taken away from you tomorrow, who would Alice be?
Oh, God. I know I get asked this question a lot, what are you going to do post-skiing and everything? And, God, I'm actually not sure. I'm I don't know. It's kind of a hard one because when you put your whole existence revolves around something, it's hard to imagine what you're going to be without it. But I think I'd always be kind of somewhere involved with the mountains and skiing in some way, shape or form.
Yeah, like coaching, potentially?
No, I don't think coaching. I think I don't want to be carrying gates around and B-nets and things.
Yeah. Also, I wonder if coaching's hard if you're really good as a competitor yourself, trying to explain to someone.
Well, I think for me, what I've noticed, the best coaches are people who are good but not great, because they want to see what they didn't do and they've got more motivation to prove what they couldn't do. And I think when you're so successful, you lack a bit of empathy in understanding why people can't do what you were able to do. So I think for me, what I've seen is the best coaches have been not top level athletes because they've kind of already been there, done that. The top best coaches, I think they've got motivation to still prove something and have an understanding of people not getting things as well.
Yeah. I had Grant Fox on the podcast recently. You probably don't know him, but Ryan Fox's dad.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a great All Black, like in the 1980s. And he dabbled in coaching, but apparently he was terrible at it. Terrible. Because I suppose it seemed obvious to him what to do.
I think that's what, like, a part of it, for sure. I think when you've, like, got something, when you understand something so clearly, it's hard to understand. Yeah.
What kind of legacy do you hope to leave for New Zealand sport and for yourself?
Oh, I mean, I guess New Zealand sport is so amazing already in like what people have done. Like it's like such a country. I mean, being overseas and looking at like now, it's amazing how much people like bat above their weight being from here, like this little island country on the other side of the world. But I think for me, I hope I just leave a legacy of, I don't know, someone who didn't see, you know, being from New Zealand as like a disadvantage, but kind of found a like motivation and pushed through the kind of being the underdog, I suppose, in this world, like other people are doing in other sports, and found some, you know, strength in being from New Zealand and being really proud of that was, and hopefully I've got some good results behind me that can encourage people, not in just in sports, but in, you know, not in like just snow sports, but in sports in general to, I think, especially for girls, I think sports is such an amazing pathway and amazing thing to be involved in. So I just, hopefully continue with that.
Are you tougher and more resilient than what you thought you were? Like reflecting on the last few years in particular?
Yeah, I feel like I've always felt like I'm tough and resilient. But I think, probably looking back over the last few years and thinking about everything that's happened and all the things, all the stages and all the ups and downs, I think I've probably surprised myself a bit with how I've been able to manage it. Because at the time it just feels like you have to, and you just keep working through it. But looking back now, I'm like, okay, that was quite a lot to deal with.
It's true that, you look in the rear view with everything that's gone on, and you're like, how the fuck did I survive that?
Yeah.
And you just do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And I think it makes you stronger on the other end.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yes, is there a question you've never been asked that you wish someone would? You do a lot of media, a lot of interviews.
Well, I was saying, this is weird because normally I always complain about this because I always say like the media, like all ask like exactly the same question, like the most boring questions.
Oh,
it's
like, what is it? What do you know?
It's just like,
if there's a bingo card, what do you know they're going to ask?
Well, like me and my friend, like we always joke, this is my other friend who's like very, another ski racer who's like very particular in the image that he wants, or like what he wants to say in the media. And he just says that he just thinks all the ski racing media is like very like unimaginative, and it's true in a way, but I think it also might be a bit of a language barrier, but it's always the same questions, you know, like how do you feel? How are the conditions today? Did you push? You know, how's your equipment feeling? You know, it's all very boring, and I kind of wish people would probe a bit, I don't know, into different kind of questions. I don't know, especially, and well, for me, being from New Zealand, it's all like this, I get asked this question every interview I do, like a standard 10-minute interview. You're always in winter. Like, you're from the Southern Hemisphere. Like, how do you do winter to winter? I'm like, I just do. Like, I don't know. Like, it's the, like, you know, it's like, or like Alice in Winterland gets like a really good.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Has that been a headline?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Or Skiland, or I don't know, or Skiwi. It's quite a good one. But I just, I find sometimes, like, how did you get into skiing? How did you, like, I find that questions can get very repetitive. So I'm trying to think, like, if there's anything I wish people would ask. But I don't know if I can pick something, like, off my head, but I just think I wish sometimes people get a bit more creative with the questions that they ask. Then how do you do winter to winter, like every media interview?
Well, it's not really winter to winter, eh? I know you're on snow every day, but if you get a blue sky day on the mountain, it's bloody beautiful up there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people always ask me, like, how do you do the double winters? But I'm like, okay, well, I think, and these people who don't like ski every day, I'm like, well, I think your version of winter is very different to my version of winter. Like, if you're doing winter in a city, it's quite different to being in the Alps and like being on top of the mountains every morning. It's not like I'm sitting in my office and it's dark when I come in and dark when I leave, you know. It's like quite an amazing thing. And I actually like a bit of like, when I go on summer holidays, I struggle a bit. I'm like, I don't like being in the sun. I don't like getting bitten by mosquitoes. I don't like sweating. I was like, I'm not built for this. I'm like way more built for the
When was the last time you swam or had togs on?
I did go to Morocco and Majorca in the spring, so yeah, then.
And looking back and say, how old are you now? 23. Say 23 years from now. What do you want to say this journey was all about?
Honestly, I want to look back and just think, okay, like I got to live like a extraordinary life, I suppose, with the people I got to meet, the experiences I got to have, the different sort of worlds that I've been exposed to. I think that's something that I've started to appreciate a lot more the last couple of years, you know, also kind of being in this little bubble growing up in New Zealand. I think being exposed to the rest of the world and people from all different walks of life has been really interesting. And that's something I think I've started to appreciate a lot more with the amount of travel that I get to do and getting to see so many different cultures and so many different kinds of people. I think I've found that so fulfilling, and I think that's something that this sport has given me is like looks in other worlds, and also getting able to live my dream of like always wanting to be a top athlete. And so if I look back on it and I feel like, okay, I achieved some amazing things, I got to meet some amazing people, I got to experience some crazy things, I'll be really happy. Just as long as I like, I mean, it's not even about like looking back and being like, oh, I achieved this, I achieved that. I want to look back and be like, God, that was like a time. And like I met so many people, I worked so hard, I had a great time, you know. And I mean, things are always more fun when you're achieving. So obviously like having a good time is like then plays into getting some really great results. But
Yeah.
I've been trying to focus a lot more on like the journey, which sounds like so cheesy, but it's true. Like not just, you know, being like, it's bad if I'm winning, it's bad if I'm losing, but just being like, okay, like I'm in this new place this week. This is so cool. I'm like, yeah, really nice.
It is. That's a great place to end it, by the way. It is true. It is cheesy, but it's very true. Happiness has to be here and now. If it's something you're chasing, you're never gonna find it.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Hey, this has been great.
Thanks for having me.
This has been really cool. Alice in Winterland.
Yeah. Sorry,
Alice,
you're going to say it with a European accent. Yeah, and then it's like, yeah.
Alice Robinson, hey, best of luck for the future. The Winter Olympics in Cortina, Italy, whatever happens, I just hope you have the best time.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope out of your 3 Olympics, this one is the most fun.
Third time's a charm. Third time's a charm.
Yeah, no, I hope it's fun,
Yeah,
however that
it's
looks.
cool.
Hopefully with a medal, but maybe it's not even to do with the medal.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. I think it's just going to be, it's a place I know really well. I've spent a lot of time there and somewhere I'm really familiar with, so just got to try and enjoy. And yeah, it'll be cool. Thanks so much for having me.